On today's Buckeye Roast, it's time for our hot seat ratio. Which coaches should be worried and who's actually safe? We'll circle back to Ryan Day's pursuit of history, closing in on all the best all-time winning percentages at Ohio State and what it could mean if he can't sustain it. Then we ask, can Eddrick Houston flip the switch and become the difference maker up front? We'll break it down. Plus, a closer look at Minnesota's defense by the numbers. And the big question, what does the nation need to see from Ohio State to truly believe? I'm Chris Drew, and this is the Buckeye Roast with Ron and Q right here on Dead Air Sports.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QP Ski. Q, how you doing?
Another day, but no dollar. Like I spent some dollars today. So another day minus $1, but I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. We got an action-packed show today, Q, so we are going to get right into it. We kind of have a stat of the day. It's a made-up stat, and I didn't even make it up. I stole it. It's from On3. It's an article that they recently published called How to Avoid the Hot Seat, and I coined the term hot seat ratio because they came up with this stat that there are 41 power conference coaches who have been at their current school since 2022. Of those 41, 30 are above 50%. 11 are living at 50% or worse. 3 of those include Sam Pittman, Mike Gundy, and Brent Fry. All 3 coaches have been fired. Q, there are 8 remaining. I wanted to run through this list and see who you thought was the next most likely to be fired now that they are all in this danger zone, and share a common statistic with 3 coaches that have been fired already. Q, you ready for the names?
All right, I'm ready.
Pat Narduzzi at Pitt, 21 and 21. Greg Schiano at Rutgers, 21 and 22. Billy Napier, 20 and 22 at Florida. Dave Aranda, 20 and 23 at Baylor. Justin Wilcox, 20 and 23 at Cal. Mark Stoops, 20 and 24 at Kentucky. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, 19 and 23. I don't know why he would be on this list. And Tony Elliott, Virginia, 15 and 24, just got a big win. So I would imagine Vandy and Virginia belong nowhere near on this list. Hugh, of those other names, who do you think's the next to get fired?
That's a good question. Honestly, those were not the names I was thought you were going to read. I was swore Luke Fickell was going to end up somewhere on this list. Let's see. I mean, how safe is the Pitt job? Is my question.
Oh, that's also 500 or worse since 2022. That Pitt job is safe. I think they like Narduzzi there. I think the expectations aren't insanely high there. I feel like they understand what their limitations are. Like, I mean, you still have Pitt fans that'll still lament the fact that they don't have their own stadium. Back when we had Pitt Stadium, kids don't want to it's just this whole spiel. It's kind of like the Miami situation where you don't really have a home stadium. But I mean, I'll give it to Pitt. I mean, my family has season tickets. I go to a considerable amount of Pitt games, not as much now covering Ohio State. But I mean, it's a fun game day experience. It's a decent atmosphere when they actually do show up, but they don't the ACC championship. I mean, they're still riding high off that, and that was how many years ago? Pitt fans still want to talk about Kenny Pickett, and Dan Marino. It's just they live off the NFL success, and that's kind of the type of program that they are. You know what I mean? They produce a lot of hometown talent. They give a lot of kids from Pittsburgh opportunities to put on for the city. They produce a lot of Hall of Famers, rich history, but not championship expectations at the moment. It's definitely not by the amount of investment that they put into that program. So I think that it would be a rush to fire Narduzzi. I say he's a bozo, and I wouldn't blame them if they did, but I don't think they have the budget to go out and guarantee that they go get a better coach than Narduzzi. And if you're going to be a team like Pitt where you're under 500 in the last 4 years, at least you have a coach that gets you in headlines. There's at least one Pat Narduzzi story, for good or bad, a year that gets Pitt in the headlines.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I feel the same way about Greg Schiano. I feel like he's pretty safe. Mark Stoops, I also feel like is pretty safe at Kentucky. I do have a friend who's a Kentucky fan, and he complains at times, but it's like, how much are you really going to win taking players from Ohio that no one else actually wants? You know what I'm saying? Like, how often are you going to win doing that? So I would have to go Billy Napier. Right now, I don't know too much about the coach at Cal, but I would guess they're not very good, but they do have a new young quarterbacks. Maybe you can sell that along with Devin Brown. But I'd say Billy Napier is probably the next to go because at Florida's a school that just should not be on that list. I don't care who you are when you're coaching. You shouldn't be under 500 at Florida.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this list that Luke Fickell is not on here, but I'm like searching his name and he's just not appearing anywhere in the article. I think he might be in a mission here from this list as I go back through. They're saying are above that, or maybe there's some sort of weird criteria that I missed when I was introing the stat that he is somehow excluded. But Q, when I look at that list, I mean, the name that jumps out to me, and it has to be Billy Napier. Given that statistic and the list of coaches that we have there, Billy Napier has to be the most likely to go out of the names that we just discussed.
Yeah, I mean, he's at the one place where they demand to win. I mean, I don't know what the pressure's like at Baylor, but I can't guess it's high. I mean, people want to go to Waco and then play ball. At Cal, I can't believe it's high. Like, Florida is the one up there where it's like, this is the best location. They've been good. They have a slew of talent down there. They have talent on the team, and they bring it in every year. Like, Florida recruits like they should be good. So my question about decision making that people go to Florida knowing they haven't been, but that's neither here nor there. But that's the one place where it's like, no matter who you are, you should at least be 8-4, like 7-5 at worst. I guess the SEC, but we've talked about the downfall of SEC over the last couple of years, how it's maybe not all it's cracked up to be. Like, I feel like Florida is the one school where it's like, bro, there's no way Mississippi State and the Arkansas and all these teams should be beating you. Like, you have too much talent for that. Alabama, sure. Georgia, sure. Tennessee, maybe.
Yeah, no way that should be losing like that. Billy Napier definitely on the hot seat, and I think he will be the first one out of the names that we just discussed to lose his job. Q, we have an action-packed show today, so we got to get to it.
All right, play the song, man. Let's do it.
Q, the Buckeyes have a chance at history this weekend. Kinda.
What would that be?
Ryan Day has a chance to pass Knute Rockne as the highest winning percentage of any Division I college football coach. He is currently at 881. If Ryan Day wins, he will pass him at .882. The record will not become official until Ryan Day has 10 years as a head coach. But Q, is this an impressive statistic for you?
Yeah, I mean, it is impressive. I mean, you think about the losses, but one thing, I mean, those kind of stand out. But the one consistency with Ryan Day is, like, he doesn't lose the games he shouldn't. He never has. And I think that's the one thing that's really holding the statistics. I mean, if you're at 80%, you're pretty much winning pretty much most of the games that you should. And then it's probably a toss-up with these high-ranked Big Ten games, unlike Mr. Franklin, who we've talked about. So, yeah, it's an impressive stat. I think it's really good. I mean, I don't think Ryan Day, people hold him that high. Now, he's not up to 10 years yet, so he still has a ways to go. So if he can hold this for a few more years, I think it'll be a little bit more impressive. But for right now, I would say, especially with the expanded playoff, like, it's looking pretty good stat to hold on to.
Absolutely. It just shows how split of a fan base we are when it's like, you impressed with the greatest record of all time?
Yeah, I think it's like, I think Ryan Day, for his almost wins hurt him so much. And you think about, like, so many coin flip games that if he had won those games, like the Georgia, the Clemson, games like that, he would just be, the light would be so much different. It feels like now he's got that natty. People view him a little bit differently now, but it's like he's so close to literally have been on the mountaintop for a while, just chilling.
Yeah, I mean, it's a few plays go a little bit different, and we're talking a lot differently about Ryan Day. I mean, if they make I always reference the if JSN isn't hurt, what does Ryan Day do to that Kirby Smart defense with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith-Njigba?
Or if they call it targeting, one of the two. If a few plays or calls, either or,
or a field goal,
yeah, or fumble, or picks. Go his way.
Hey, but we're champions, so let's not dwell on the past.
Yeah. Even that, or sliding when there's a second left on the clock.
You think about all the almost championships; they almost get it done in 19 and have an opportunity to play against what people consider the greatest college football team of all time. He gets them to the national championship, and not that I think if everyone played, it goes any different, but come on now. Like, Buckeyes only played 7 games. Like, we actually tested for COVID before the game, unlike the other team, allegedly. Like, I feel like anybody, like, Ohio State, perpetual rule followers, you knew they were sitting people out. So, like, you just throw that year away. But, I mean, he gets them to the game. 21 has to reset, doesn't have – the defense kind of goes to crap. Then they're right back at it. And it's just like, he's been so close, and then he finally gets over the mountaintop. Ryan Day is a few plays away from multiple national championships. And then you look at where he's at from a win percentage standpoint. Ryan Day deserves some more respect, especially when, the few coaches that you still have to pay respect to that are active in the sport. One of them's out here being a complete bozo down at Clemson.
Yeah, man, I was just thinking you brought it back up, and I actually seen this the other day. I meant to bring it up on the show. I know we got a lot, but I'll make it quick. But the hype around that 2019 LSU team just makes me so sick. We did not see, because I think people forget. Yes, they had, and I think the names in the NFL definitely helps that. But yeah, Joe Burrow, yes, Jordan Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
But Justin Jefferson. Better than Jordan Jefferson. Much better.
Wow, that was bad.
Jordan Jefferson, good player. Not as good as Justin Jefferson.
Great character. Dude, lovely dude on TV. Anyway, I think the hype around those names, people forget, one, that defense was very much, you could get at them and you could score against them. 2, they were in a close game against Texas, which people just don't want to acknowledge. And 2, very close game against Alabama. People really act like they were like 2001 Miami. And I'm like, they really weren't. They did the, what was the Get the Gap video, and y'all act like this team was infinitely better. And no, they were not. They just got lucky to avoid Ohio State and Clemson, for a matter of fact, because they should not have been the 1 seed.
Q. We talked about this at the beginning of the season, and we wrote an extremely long show, and we're only 13 minutes in and already completely derailed off the note just talking. But Q, what did I say at the beginning of the year? The amount of aura having a quarterback that can dance will add to your 2019 is proof positive. The greatest PR team ever around the team. Like, you smoke a cigar, you do a couple dances, and you are immortalized forever. I mean, Baker Mayfield did like one of the most mid-Dougies we've ever seen, and people still talk like he is a swaggy quarterback. Like, I just the amount of aura points you get from having a quarterback that dances, that'll fool people. It had people believing that Arch Manning got a little bit of Louisiana seasoning in him and danced a couple times after touchdowns last year, and they had people saying that this guy was the number 1 overall pick.
It was Tebow, apparently. So you were dead on that one. I just I had such a bone to pick, I had to bring it up. But moving on, Ohio State's been close a lot, and I think a couple coin flips go differently, and we're talking about Ryan Day maybe better than Saban.
And while I think we're avoiding the elephant in the conversation, it's clear that the reason that Ryan Day doesn't get this credit, it shows how much the Michigan rivalry means to Ohio State, because despite all of the success that Ryan Day has and how close he's come to success before he just got over the mountaintop last year, and how little patience fans, including myself, had for Ryan Day and the organization that he's building at Ohio State, because he wasn't beating his rival. And I feel like the last 4 losses to Michigan is what's clouding the fact that Ryan Day is knocking on the door to be the top dog in college football and the best coach in the sport, especially looking like he has a team with a chance to repeat. And that puts him right next to Kirby Smart, who has a problem with his not rival in Alabama. So it's just Ryan Day seems to be one more national championship away from having a whole new conversation about who runs this sport.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, definitely, and I think Michigan is someone at fault for the way Ryan Day looked, not because they beat him, because the fact that they went out and lost to TCU in amazing fashion, and the fact that they had this scandal that leaned over everyone's head, and they're like, which they probably didn't need because they had a really good team. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. We'll never know. But having a really good team and winning the national championship, everybody acts like Michigan is just some, rinky-dink normal rival. It's like, no, we're playing a top 5 team every fucking year. Like, yeah, it's like nice to play Auburn and they suck.
If I'm Ryan Day, I'm sitting here listening to this episode like, oh, now y'all see it. He's like, when are you going to throw in the fact that they were cheating? Like, all of these things. It's like, even the harshest criticism that you have against Ryan Day, it's like, what's your biggest criticism? It's like, oh, he's been losing to he's been losing to their rival who's been involved in one of the biggest cheating scandals in the history of the sport, and they also won a national championship in that time frame where no one in the sport beat. Like, Ryan Day didn't beat Michigan last year. It's like, well, the year they won the Natty, no one did.
They cheated. They also had 15 draft picks. Like, come on, man.
Exactly. You saw what happened when Ohio State had 15 draft picks. Natty.
So, but I digress. I think that has much to do with it. But again, I mean, it'll be a great stat to have. We'll see if he can hold it. I think if recruiting picks up a little more, that's the one area I really worry about. And Ohio State has developed well, so they don't quite have to be Bama and Georgia on the recruiting trail. But I think if they can keep a high level and be in the top 5 year in year out in recruiting standings, I think Ryan Day can hold this record.
Absolutely, it'll be a fun record to monitor while he holds it as an active coach, and it'll be interesting to see how long he's able to hold on to that record if he's able to beat PJ Fleck on Saturday and actually get that record. Q, I wanted to pivot a little bit and talk about defensive lines, but before we do that, we want to make sure we remind everybody, if you're new around here, the analytics say about 50% of the people that watch these videos and subscribe, which means half of you are not and are watching on a regular basis. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button as well, and hit the notification bell so you get a notification when we do the show, the Buckeye Roast, Monday through Friday. And I think we're going to have to update the tag queue, because if the numbers look good tomorrow, I think we're going to go officially to 10 a.m. on a regular basis going forward. So we'll have more updates there, but be sure to smash that like button. Q, plenty to talk about here. Defensive lines. We just did an episode where we said Caden Curry and the last name Bosa in the same sentence. And now I'm looking at this graphic from whomever the fuck, and
Pro Football Focus.
Okay. And no Ohio State, Q. What's going on?
Sorry, Rob. I got to tell you, I put this graphic together, during my lunch at work.
Well, that's why I said it to you, because you're the one that sent me this. So I'm like, I don't know where you found this. Like, well, Q get fancy in ChatGPT.
A little further down, it does say powered by PFF, but we'll ignore that part. No,
I mean, wait, what's that say in front of it though? Smash that like button. I think that's far more important.
There we go. A better graphic. We need one with smash that like on it. So we got Miami at 1, Texas Tech at 2, who I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to see in person in a couple weeks. Louisville at 3, which I don't know much about them, but they were in close game with Pitt. Indiana at 4, can believe that. It has been a good team. Pitt at 5, who we all just talked about, and Missouri at 6. Well, first we got the future Heisman on this board, Ruben Bain, who must, since he's on this graphic, he probably then moved up a point. So we got someone, he's probably in the top 5.
I've seen Ruben Bain on more graphics this year than Jeremiah Smith, bro. They should probably publish an update of the NCAA cover and put Ruben Bain on it instead of Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, because I mean, greatest player we've ever seen.
Bro, I'm not even gonna be pissed if there's not a Ruben Bain cam. You can just watch him all game, and like you just tune into ESPN 3 and there's a Ruben Bain cam, because that's what I'm looking for. But Ohio State is not on here. I am not surprised about Miami, But Ron, does anybody surprise you being on this list? And then we'll jump into Ohio State.
Pitt, because you would think that their defense would be better, being that they also have one of the best linebacker pairings in the country as well, with Ohio product Rasheem Biles. It's crazy to think that like Ohio has, I'd say, easily 3 of the best 15 linebackers in the country in Rasheem Biles, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles. So, I mean, to see that Pitt is a top 5 defensive line, they have one of the top linebacker pairings in the country, and they're losing to Louisville. But I mean, I guess when you look at the graphic, Louisville has an even better defensive line, so maybe that contributed to it. So I don't know, man. I have a hard time believing in anything ACC, and we're looking at a bunch of teams that play in the ACC. I feel like when people used to discredit the Big Ten, they'd be like, well, look at all the stats. It's a bunch of Big Ten teams all ranked because they're playing against a bunch of Big Ten teams. I'm going to use that same logic against the ACC. I'm just really not buying these defensive lines. And then, like, I don't know, with the way that Ohio State's defense is playing right now, I just Caden Curry, if we're talking about the word Bosa and K-Max wrecking games, I don't know what stats they're using to come up with this, but I don't know, man. It feels like the Buckeyes are getting slighted here.
Yeah, I used to say the same thing about James Pierce with his grades. I'm like, bro, I watched him on Saturday and I didn't see anybody near him. He's graded out at 79%. So what are those people doing in front of him? Indiana is the one I see at 4. We talk about Indiana's offense explosion, especially after Illinois and what they were able to do offensively there. But at number 4, I mean, that's a good stat right there. If if Indiana can find a way to continue to play solid defense going down the stretch, does it work? Would they be a better team than maybe a Penn State, in your opinion, if they could continue to play some good defense?
Who?
Indiana. Could
they be better than Penn State?
They're at number 4, the Pro Football Focus as far as defensive line goes. I'm just asking.
They got to ask one of the best freshman defensive ends in the country, paired with Knute Sutton, who the only reason why he probably doesn't have crazier stats is because they hold him every snap of the game. Like, you talk about the holding pandemic in college football, you'd have to look no further than 33 for Penn State and the way they hold on to that man the entire game. It's insane.
No, I mean, I believe I saw someone on Saturday, but yeah. So we'll see if Indiana continue to progress. I didn't say better defensive line because I don't think they have it, but I did say better team overall. So we'll see about that when it comes playoff time and see where Penn State falls. But yeah, defensive line. Talk about Ohio State. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't believe that they're not up here. They're not giving up points. They're not. We have a whole list of stats that we'll roll into next, but I'm looking forward to seeing Ohio State on this list soon.
Yeah, I believe the Buckeyes will be on this list soon as well. Does it surprise you that there aren't any, or that Indiana is the only Big Ten team on here? And I mean, Missouri, the SEC not having a team in the top 5. Does that surprise you, given the what the SEC has been known for has been trenches, and you look at this list and it doesn't seem like the SEC is getting it done?
I would say I think watching them on TV live, Georgia's defensive line and Alabama's defensive line hasn't been as impressive as I thought they would be against competition. Now, yeah, they played the teams that no one knows what state they're in. They looked absolutely dominant. But I thought maybe they play at a higher level. Again, I don't know how Pro Football Focus does his grading, and I think that both their defensive line are probably pretty solid. But, yeah, it's a little bit surprising. I mean, you would think they would have some SEC team up here. It's ACC, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, ACC, SEC. It's not the direction I thought it would go.
Yeah, definitely not what I thought how it would look, and I think it lends to my theory that the ACC is beating up on the ACC and inflating their stats. And, I mean, I guess you have to give Miami somewhat some credit because they did do it against Notre Dame, but, I mean, Notre Dame, hashtag not a playoff team? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, we've seen that Miami line and like, damn, they do look good. So at least my eyes match up to what I don't know if they're the number 1, but my eyes match up to them being on the list.
Q, I feel like this perfectly frames our question of the day, because you look at these rankings, you see Ohio State not in them, and the preseason narrative seems to be driving the current narrative around the Buckeyes, and it seems like people still cannot get over the preseason rumors of defensive line depth concerns and the worries about 8 new starters. And it feels like the Buckeyes have completely put those doubts to bed with the stats that they are currently putting up. The opponent scoring percentage, Q, when you take a look at that graphic, what first comes to mind?
The fact that they're not scoring a touchdown a game. That's the glaring. And the fact that Texas is on there and they're not scoring a touchdown. And Washington, who has an explosive offense, they're not scoring a touchdown a game. It's kind of absurd.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. You look at it, we talked about all of the weapons that were hyped up for Washington. We talked about the Arch Manning hype, and you just look at this, and the goalposts just constantly move because the Buckeyes go out here and they're averaging 5.5 points a game that they're giving up when their opponents are clearly beating up on other defenses. Regardless of the opponents, they're finding ways to score, and they can't even get into the end zone against the Buckeyes. We knew this defense was returning a ton of talent that just hadn't had their opportunity yet. Are they even outshining your initial expectations? Was there any preseason doubt from the national media that crept into your belief, or did you stand firm in your belief of Ohio State's recruiting and their phrase developed here? Because a lot of these guys have been itching to get on the field, and some of them already pushing to get on the field during a national championship run last year.
Yeah, I mean, I won't cap on here. I did have my doubts. National media outside of my head. I mean, I believe like Caden Curry, we saw some of him. We knew his motor, which has led to his early season success. I know I didn't know he would go and absolutely wreck games like he is with more playing time. Kenyatta Jackson was another guy I worried about. I think you were higher on Kenyatta than I was. And I think he's coming on now, but I was a little bit worried. I was like, okay, he says he's the best DN. He's been the best DN in the past couple of years. Like, let's see it. Started a little slow. We're starting to pick it up. Had no question about Keaton McDonald. He's probably the one where I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then Eddrick Houston, who has been consistent so far. I said, hey, this is first year starting. He's still transitioning. Can he hold that high level, which he hasn't quite yet? But overall, this unit has been lights out. You added the new players, and you might as well throw Caleb Downs and Arvo Reese in to what this defensive line is doing because they played the line of scrimmage or they're around the box so much. It's just a hard defense to run against. And I think this defensive line has been impressive. But overall, this defense with just all the tools, and shout out to Matt P, like with all the tools and people getting involved in the run game, you're just not you're just not running against this defense right now unless you're really bringing your lunch pail. And I haven't seen a team do it yet.
We're going to talk about Eddrick Houston here in a minute. Because we had that PFF graphic up on the screen, and now that I think about it, we've talked every week about how low Eddrick Houston's PFF score has been, being that the level of inconsistency that he's been playing with. You've watched him flash on the tape on the All-22, but then also see him have not so great plays. He was one of those players pushing to get playing time during a national championship run last year, getting snaps in the college football playoff, and now losing his position to Tywon Malone, a guy that people were grouping in that category of depth concerns, and the Buckeyes are still out here putting up these defensive performances, and it just happens to be exciting for Buckeyes to think about if Eddrick Houston puts it together and starts playing at a 5-star level that showed why he was, as a true freshman that enrolled as a defensive end, was getting snaps at defensive tackle and gets on the field and starts putting out real production. This could be one of the scariest defenses when people are already talking about this defense potentially being better than last year. Q, I wanted to read off a couple of stats. PJ Fleck was talking to the media the other day, and they talked about Ohio State giving up a touchdown per game, and he promptly corrected them and reminded them, no, they're giving up less than a touchdown per game at 5.5 points per game, as you see on the screen. Through 4 games, Ohio State is outscoring opponents 145-22. No double-digit scores in the last 20 games since 2024. 45 red zone attempts against the Buckeyes, only 16 touchdowns, 9 field goals. Every other FBS team in the country in the last 20 games has given up at least 19-plus red zone touchdowns. It seems like the good times just keep rolling for this Ohio State defense, despite the departure of Jim Knowles. Matt Patricia comes in, and it feels like almost leveled up this defense. Hugh, are you ready to jump out on the limb and say this Buckeye defense is better than last year's?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can go far past last year. Start talking about 2019 with the efficiency they're playing with right now. I mean, I think it's probably been the best since then. I mean, Ron, if we had tripled that average and made it 16, I would feel comfortable about this Ohio State defense. The fact that it is 5.5 is actually absurd. So I will say, yeah, I mean, I think it's better than last year. It's more multiple than last year. I think the one maybe downgrade right now, besides, I guess you could say, at the other defensive tackle position is not having Lorenzo Styles in and not having Jordan Hancock, who played really well. Lorenzo Styles has struggled a little bit, but we talk about his flexibility, and hopefully he can maintain that spot. But outside of that, I mean, it's either a wash or it got better. And it's like, that is just it's so crazy to see, because last year we really just didn't get to see these guys, and we wondered why they weren't playing. And obviously the starters earned their spots, and they went out and won a national championship, so you can't complain. But it's just like, damn, like, hey, next up, and we're better.
Q, when we were putting the show together, we always joke that we do an entire show before we actually do the show. And I said, hey, you going to grab those Ohio State defensive stats? And you're like, well, which one? They're number one in everything. Yeah. You just look at the stat on the screen and you just go down the list, and they are number one in a plethora of categories. Q, I have this stat here, 14.2%. Third and fourth down conversion percentage allowed. One of the biggest things that was touted about Jim Knowles coming into Ohio State was his ability to get off the field on third down. He had great success doing it and coming up with goal line stands. Ohio State just continues those, and they look a little bit different, but still the same level of success under Matt Patricia. When you take a look at all of these stats on the screen, or rankings per se, which one is most impressive to you about this Ohio State defense?
I mean, you got to start with touchdowns allowed. Only 2 is a ridiculous number. But I mean, again, the lack of explosive plays. We forfeiting rushing plays over 20 yards. Where's the pass plays? Yeah, and third and passing plays over 10 yards. Like, if you're doing that, that means they're rarely, if at all, getting a pop in a game. And I don't know who the top 2 is, but whoever they are, they're balling out, because having that few of explosive plays and really limiting, especially with the teams we play with Texas. You walk into Texas, you say, if we give up 3 explosive plays, we're right in the game. Going to Washington, you say we'll probably still win. But if we give up, 3 or 4 explosive plays, we did just fine. Like, limiting them to, what did Washington have? 1 long run that I can remember, maybe one or 2 passes over 10
I
yards.
told you how unimpressed I was with the Washington rushing game, that I still don't know the running back's name.
Yeah, it's like you barely gave up really any. And the thing about Texas, I mean, the only one I can really think of was the touchdown pass. Outside of that, explosive plays were so few and far between, especially with the teams we played, that it's just, that is the most impressive thing. Holding them in front of you, because you realize, like, you're not making explosive plays against this defense, and they can pin their ears back and send Arvell Reese after your quarterback. You kind of shot, buddy. I hate to tell you, it's not where you want to be.
Q, out of respect for this young man that plays running back for Washington, I was going to give him one more chance for me to learn his name, and figure if I Google Washington running backs and scroll, and if I don't see a picture or his name ahead of the Redskin or the R words, I would learn his name. I just scrolled through the whole front page of search results for Washington running backs. Still haven't seen his name. Do you know it, Q?
Jonah Coleman, I do believe.
There you go.
I know his last name is Coleman. I'm pretty sure his first name is Jonah, so I got it.
The Buckeyes defense is borderline historical, better points per game through 4 games than Kirby Smart's national championship, Georgia teams, Jim Harbaugh's national championship, Michigan defense. Q, do you think the preseason narratives are holding people back from acknowledging this potentially historic defense that the Buckeyes may have?
I mean, yeah. I mean, personally, I think we just have a bunch of head asses in the media. Like, I don't know if there's any better way to put that with the stuff that come out after Ohio State plays, and you're starting to see it swing a little bit with the people that actually come and watch Ohio State in person or call the games. They'll tell you how good these defenses are and how good Matt P is. I mean, I think Matt P really woke up the nation week 1, and people have tried to hold them off and say, oh, it's just Texas. They're not as good as they're supposed to be. Like, they still got Ryan Wingo, Arch, a slew of 5 stars all over the field. Like, those are talented players who will play at the next level. So this belief that Ohio State isn't what people are seeing is just them trying to deny it and trying to prop up other teams. And we've seen that all through. They've given plenty of teams credit who we look at it now week 4, and we're like, talking about LSU after week 1? Okay. So it's just like, yeah, I think the national media does have a bit. A lot of them are not invested in Ohio State. Of course, it's because the Big Ten is owned by Fox, and then all you see is ESPN running out here. You have the college football nerds that we talked about the other day. You have all these media entities, and like, again, I don't know why it's so hard for them to give them credit, because Ohio State sells, and that's the craziest part about it. Like, you give Ohio State credit, people start watching. Like, RJ Young almost made his name by giving Ohio State credit when they went on the recruiting bender that they did in 2021. A lot of people started watching him. Now people hate him, and his show got a different name. So it's just like, I don't see it. I'll shout out to RJ Young. I don't hate him, but the facts are the facts. So I would say that I don't understand why they won't, bend to give them credit, but it seems to be nationally that it's just not as sexy. I think just because they're squeezing people to death right now. And I get it. The offense, people have their complaints about it. I think we'll jump either later in the show, a little more tomorrow. Offense isn't, and we talked about a little bit ago, Joe Burrow 2019. If they were a little more sexy, I don't think they could hold it back. But without that level of sexiness, if we're putting out 80 points a game, I think they're like, okay, we can hold on to something and not quite talk about Ohio State yet until they beat a team that we respect. And that probably won't come until Michigan at this point.
It feels like it. Q, I wanted to ask you, we had it mentioned on the intro about Eddrick Houston potentially flipping a switch. Is there anyone else outside of Eddrick Houston that you would like to throw in contention for a potential X factor that hasn't made their mark on the defense yet, that if they were to level up or reach their potential or full potential this season could unlock another element to this defense?
I mean, there's almost a handful of those guys, and I'll get to probably the one most likely last. But I mean,
before you do that, everybody let us know your answer in the chat. If you're watching live, make sure you let us know in the live chat. We're probably watching along live with you in the chat. If you are watching the replay, make sure you let us know in the comments, who do you think could be an X factor on this defense as they continue to progress throughout the season. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you also subscribe. Q.
Ron, I don't know if you have an answer. I might give it to you first because I might take it on this list. So if you have one guy, I'd say pick him now.
The guy that I was going to go with is CJ Hicks. I feel like we've seen him flash, and I feel like with what we've seen Caden Curry be able to do off the edge and from the inside, everybody loves the Rushman package at Ohio State when you see a bunch of defensive ends across the front. And then if he's able to add a NFL level athleticism pass rush to this defense and then be able to use him for more snaps, I feel like that's something that could potentially really unlock another element to this defense and allow them to be more multiple and allow them to be rested. One of the big things that Ryan has talked about is his takeaways from the things that he's learned as college football continues to evolve. And with this longer season, he talks about how important it is not only to have depth ready to play in the event of injuries, but also to have capable depth that can play to allow starters to get rest. If Caden Curry keeps playing like another former 92, he's not going to be playing in third and fourth quarters towards the end of the year, because this is going to be a guy that they're going to want ready and healthy because they know he's going to be a crucial element of a national championship run if the Buckeyes expect to repeat. So you need other guys to step up, and I feel like CJ Hicks is a guy that could potentially add that depth to the defensive line rotation.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Hicks is a very good choice. I think he needs to play more. Again, I don't understand why Bo Atkinson is playing more snaps than him, and I get it. Bo Atkinson is playing a ton, especially the way Caden Curry's playing right now. But you can see it from CJ Hicks, either rushing the passer, bull rushing, moving linemen out the way, athleticism chasing people down that you just aren't seeing off the other guys who are replacing. So I'm definitely with that one. I think the biggest X factor lies in that other defensive tackle position. And we've talked about Tywon Malone, top 100 guy, super talented. Hadn't quite figured it out yet, and we're still in the range. I mean, it's now or never for him if he wants to have a chance to play at the next level. So he's definitely got a ways to go. I mean, Eddrick Houston, we just talked about him. Jarquez Carter is maybe another guy out there. We've seen snaps against Texas.
You said a bunch of names, and you still haven't even got to one of the ones that I was thinking that you were going to stay, but continue.
I got another defensive tackle for you, and Jason Moore, a guy we haven't seen at all. So I think that position is the position to unlock this defense. I think the secondary is fine. Could it be better? I mean, there's another guy out there, but I won't say the name. Could it be better? Yes, but I would say that other defensive tackle position is so important that either one of Eddrick Houston, Tywon Malone, Jarquez Carter, or Jason Moore has to at least be grading out in the 70s of these lists. If they can do that, I think this defense can be on the verge of one of the greats of all time.
Q, you know the name that you avoided. I feel like this is the sponsored segment of the show. We need some sort of sounder for when we talk about him.
And his name is John C.
Boy.
The Devin Sanchez sponsored segment of the show. I think that's another guy that has the potential to unlock this defense if he finds a way to necessitate being on the field. That if he becomes so good that the Buckeyes feel that he has to be on the field, I think that'll just give them more opportunities to move guys around, get guys rested, and have our corners fresh. So I think that's just another X factor to this defense. Watching a team that is, I feel like in most situations when you're watching a team get better over the course of the season, you have to deal with a lot of stressful moments and deal with a lot of angst throughout the season. And I feel like the Buckeyes are in this spoiled situation where they are watching a team learn and develop and get better with hasn't felt like the risk to lose a game, and to be able to enjoy the Saturdays while also watch young guys play, watch new starters play, watch a new quarterback develop week in and week out, and watch this team get better without having the stress of them losing or feeling like this team is on the brink of elimination from the college football playoff. I think it's made for an excellent viewing experience from the Buckeyes this season.
I mean, it does, especially defensively. I mean, I think this is as fun of a defense as you probably watched since 2016. We had Malik Hooker in the squad back there, and they were trying to outscore the offense. So that was definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I think you look around this defense and around this team. I mean, there's just so much talent that just hasn't figured it out yet. And we talk about the other defensive tackle position, so maybe adding another pass rusher in outside of Arvell Reese, who said, "I'll do this myself." Caden Curry, step over, give me a chance. Also. And you talk about the linebackers in the secondary. I mean, it's just been pretty lights out. Again, I think like with the way they talk about just a little aura, add a little more touchdowns, make it a little more sexy. And they're gonna be talking about this team along with the 2019 LSU, 2001 Miami, the 85 Bears.
All right, we're getting all right. I needed to. If I knew you were getting that carried away, I would have dropped off the screen.
Who else can I say? The Dream Team, the Redeem Team.
Oh my God,
Michael Phelps, whoever you want to allow them with, they can reach their potential. We'll be talking about them with those grades. 96 Bulls. Rod, who else is out there? 2002 Maryland Terps.
Who do you take in 2025 Ohio State or the 96 Bulls?
Shades of 2002 Maryland Terps.
Oh man, they're gonna have us on every
Lost
message.
To Minnesota.
Lost to Minnesota. Ryan Day chokes in the big game. Record on the line. It's gonna take Ryan Day 9 straight wins before he can potentially break the record again. What does this mean for PJ Fleck? Is this a candidate for the Florida job now?
That would not. Yeah, hold it down, y'all. Don't do us like that. It will be everywhere. No one watched that part.
Embarrassing.
Oh my God.
Q. I wanted to stick with the defense before we do that. If you're still watching and you like what you see, make sure you smash that like button. It costs you nothing. It helps us a ton. We're trying to drive engagements. If you have a message for us, if you have a question for us, a comment, you like what we're saying, you hate what we're saying, let us know in the comments. Don't be too mean, though. I got to read these while I'm at work.
Don't forget, hit the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And engage with us in the community. Let us know some of your thoughts. We still haven't seen anyone post in there. Be the first one, and we will absolutely see you on the show. Q, I wanted to keep talking about defenses, but we're going to talk about the defense that we face this week. You did a statistical deep dive, and by that I would imagine a Twitter search.
Know what this means, but it's there.
Tell me something about this defense we're about to play, Q.
Okay, so looked at the Minnesota defense right here, and I have both where they rank nationally as well. So in opponents points per game, they're giving up 21 a game. It's solid. They're 40th in the nation. Yards per game, 294. That's 19th in the nation. Third down conversion, which is very important. They are 36.84%. So they're 53, about middle of the road. So not so good there. Opponent red zone scoring percentage. Now, I have to believe this includes field goals, because if it doesn't,
where did you pull these from?
The internet.
Oh no, that obviously I didn't think you. I don't think you dug them up from a time capsule. I didn't know if I wanted to make sure that they were recent ones, because I thought that their rushing defense was a little bit better than what I am seeing here.
Rushing defense. I mean, they're giving up 2.8 yards per rush, so that's 13th in the nation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just hadn't got there yet. No, red zone scoring was 94th in the nation at 90%, but I would believe they have to include field goals. So obviously their red zone defense by these statistics aren't very good. But in rushing defense, like I said, 13th in the nation at 2.8, which is really good. And then a pass, yards per pass is 6.8, which is 53 in the nation. A little better than middle of the road.
Yeah, I think those might be. I'm looking at these stats. I think they might be slightly better than what we're looking at. I think we might be a week of data off. But regardless, I mean, this Minnesota defense isn't that. I think they're going to give a decent challenge to this offense, no?
I mean, well, clearly they could stop the run. So that has been a little bit of a weakness for the Ohio State when we talked about the film breakdown and saying we could run a little bit better, which they can get better at blocking. So still a ways to go. So if they can do that and pin their ears back, I mean, 6.8 per pass is not terrible. It's not great, but it's not, top 20 defense, but it's not terrible. So it is going to present some challenges, especially you look at this and you say, hey, can you put, especially if they're stopping the run, you're going to have to put more on Julian Saban's plate. You have to make him go out and make some plays. And that, again, kind of feeds into probably what teams more so want to do. Apparently, Julian Saban is this bad passer, and college football nerds told us he can't throw the ball. So if they are able to do that, that seems to be at some advantage. Now, 21 points per game, that would be a little low for me for what Ohio State is averaging. So I would say they definitely have some challenges here. And also, opponent yards per game is under 300. That's top 20 in the country.
Yeah, I mean, you expect the Buckeyes to go out there and try to open it up a bit as an opportunity to test out, are they able to do what the doubters say that they can't? This Minnesota defense has a chance to challenge this Buckeyes rushing attack that has been slow starting at points this season. CJ Donaldson had a solid drive up until the stalled short yardage attempt on fourth down, where we got stalled on the first drive. But for the most part, we watched the All-22 the other day. He looked solid at the beginning of that drive. Bo Jackson comes on the field and looks electric. It's going to be interesting to see, one, the rotation, and two, how the Buckeyes are able to perform. What do you think that we will be able to learn about this running back rotation coming out of this game?
Again, Coach Locke goes and plays 3 running backs. And I know people are going to complain. they're not gonna like that. But I think what we learned last week is Bo, he got most of the carries. The coaching staff knows Bo is the most high talented, maybe playing at the best level right now of any running back on this roster. So I think we're definitely going to continue to get a lion's share of him. I want to see if they continue to do that. And if Bo Jackson can still average, what he averaged last week, 5 yards a carry? If he can stay somewhere in the 5-6 yards per carry, I mean, he's really cooking, especially with the weapons we have outside. So I think we'll learn that. James Peoples, I'm interested to see if he still plays in crunch time. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be crunch time against Minnesota, but we go through the game. Let me see if he's still getting snaps. And I think CJ Donaldson, I think people want to know, we brought you here to be that power back. When we have a 4th and 1 or 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, can you go through and get those yards? And he's talked about it. He's talked about working on his pad level. So I think there's something to watch for of him because, again, they're not giving up a lot of rushing yards. So if they can have rushing success, that tells you a lot about this offensive line and these running backs.
Q, that sets us up perfectly for our last segment of the show. 5 things that the Buckeyes need to show offensively to make the doubters into believers. We've seen a lot of people criticize the Buckeyes in various elements of this offense and have doubted their ability to win the national championship this year because of various deficiencies that they feel like they've seen throughout the first 4 weeks. So, Q, I wanted to address the doubters and ask you, do you think this Minnesota game is an opportunity for the Buckeyes to go out and silence these doubters? So the first one I wanted to start with is, can the Buckeyes run in short yardage in the red zone? We just talked about CJ Donaldson and the stall drive to start the game last week. Are the Buckeyes able to shore things up in the red zone? Because it feels like red zone struggles have been a consistent theme throughout the Ryan Day era when he doesn't have the 2 best running backs in the country at his disposal to just run in the red zone, even though everyone knows that they're running. Is that something that they're going to be able to establish with Bo Jackson and CJ Donaldson? Is this just a pad level issue? Is this just an opportunity issue with Bo Jackson? Is this something that can be unlocked in the red zone? Is this a week that the Buckeyes can potentially address red zone concerns?
I mean, I think they can. Now, a couple of things. One, a couple of things I noticed when we watched on the film was definitely Nate Roberts getting there and getting his block. He did miss one. I think the other play had to clean up another block. So if everybody stays on, can Nate Roberts find an unblocked guy? That's his role. I get it. He's a freshman. He's playing his first few college games. I understand.
Freshman not even playing his true position. It's like,
yeah, he's playing.
We brought you here to play tight end, play fullback, and start on a potential national championship team.
Go block a starting linebacker. Have fun.
And if you miss your blocks, a big idiot in a red hat's going to talk shit on Monday.
They watching the Buckeye Roast, they'll know. So, no, definitely a lot of confidence in Nate Roberts. Let's see if he can get better there. I think if they are able to run one, don't be so obvious. I think Brian Hartline learned and said, okay, now let me run a fake and get out here, and I'll got everybody and their grandma wide open because they know there's a threat of a pass at least. I think that'll help a little bit. But yeah, I definitely think, I don't know if it silenced the national doubters, but I think the Ohio State fans are like, hey, we can't run the red zone. I think they can silence some of them against Minnesota. Against Minnesota.
You brought up one of our biggest ops, and it's a silent war with them. The college football nerds have just been on a campaign of disparaging the Ohio State offense and Julian Sayin. They point specifically to Julian Sayin's inability or resistance to throwing the seam or throwing into the seam. Do you think that's something that we see in this Minnesota game, or do you think that we continue to see conservative play calling and reads from Julian Sayin?
I mean, if we're talking just through the lens of college football nerds, I don't know what the hell they want to see. I actually just want them to re-answer the question: is Spencer Rattler better than CJ Stroud? Because I think they would still say no. They hold on. Them boys stand on business. They don't move off of picks. But I will say this: for me personally, in the national media, I think Julian Sayin needs to continue to do what he's doing. I've seen him light up teams. I mean, we saw the Ohio game, and he threw the ball everywhere that he possibly could. So we know he has the ability. I don't think lighting up the Minnesota pass defense, especially, it's not the run defense, I don't think that's going to change anybody's mind. But I would love to see, again, guys get involved. Got Inniss involved last week a little bit. Max Slayer's another guy I'm looking for out there. So if they continue to do what they're doing and maybe give them a little more opportunity, I'll be happy with it. And that's all I need to see.
You're cheating and looking ahead of the next game that I was going to talk about. Yes, you did. Is Max Clare the pass-catching threat he was advertised to be? Q, this seems to be a Spaces narrative and less of a national media narrative. Every time I go into the Spaces, they say, y'all lied about Max Clare. Y'all lied about Max Clare. He's not who y'all said he was. Q, Is Max Clare not as advertised, or is Max Clare just playing on one of the most talented offenses in the country with only one football?
Max Clare is not who we said we were. Like, he doesn't have 3 years of tape at Purdue to validate exactly what we said before he got here. Yes, I don't know. Ron, there's a guy on the team. I believe he wears number 4. It might be like 6'4"-ish, 220, runs like a 4.3. I think he's the number one option. Okay. Max Clare was the number one option at Purdue, and they did not have another. They may have had a number 4, but it wasn't the same as the one we got. I hate to tell you. So, yes, I think Max Clare is a good threat. We've seen him get open. We've seen him drop a pass early, and I think that's pushed some of the narrative about the pass drop against Texas. But we've also seen him have a touchdown. It's just, again, when you have Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, do you really want to sit there and be like, I need to get Max Clare the ball 8 times like he was given at Purdue? Like, who's the tight end from, and I'm blanking on him. Who's the tight end from Penn State last year? The one that went for first round, I believe. I'm forgetting his name. He played for the Colts.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
If he was on this team, do you think he would have got the amount of targets he got at Purdue? I mean, he would have got at Penn State. And if he didn't, would they be like, oh, he's not who we said he was because we have 1 year tape at Ohio State? No. So I think Max Clare is perfectly fine. I think he's going to tear up the combine and go to NFL and do numbers. He's just playing with a loaded roster. We're talking about guys who are talented that aren't playing. At least he's playing.
Well, I feel like the same could be said about this next guy. A lot of criticism has been made about him, whether it be his performance on punt return or what people feel is unearned reps. People feel that other guys should be playing ahead of him. We have not wavered on our support for Brandon Inniss. Is this a game where we see Brandon Inniss remind people why he was one of the only 5 stars in the class of 2023 in the entire Big Ten?
I don't know if this will be the game where he reminds people why he was a 5-star, but I think this is another. I thought the Washington game for Brandon Inniss, with the opportunities he got, he played pretty well. He had a fumble on punt return, but when he got the ball, what did he have? 35 yards on like 2 catches, something like that.
Leading receiver.
Yeah, so he was definitely had some pop and blocked pretty well. I think this is a continued game where Brandon Inniss can get 3, maybe 4 touches. He's going to be around 50 yards if he does. And he's going to continue to hold that spot down. People are going to be like, all right. He's doing a little bit more. Now I can complain a little less. Again, we'd like to see the other wide receivers play a little more. But I would say I think Brandon Inniss, again, can still on his way to reminding people why he starts and why he was the recruit that we went after so hard.
Q, speaking of reminders, can 77 remind people why he started on a national championship offensive line and was able to play at a championship level consistently last year? And will he be able to bring that consistency back?
I don't know about against Minnesota. They're giving up 2.8 yards a rush. So this wouldn't be the game I would put my flag down.
But don't you think this is the perfect test? Like, hey, we've seen you do it against national championship caliber teams in defensive fronts. You have a challenge here in Minnesota. Why don't you bring playoff level focus and attention to this game and silence the idiot in the red hat?
Yeah, well, hopefully he's watching the show, and if he is, make sure you hit that like button and hit that sub button.
Hopefully he's not watching. I stood next to him. I want no smoke.
But
want no smoke. I've consistently said the best choice at right guard is Tegra playing at the best of his abilities. I'd just like to see him do it.
Yeah. Yes, this definitely is an opportunity. I believe he can do it, and I believe Tegra needs to step up his game just a little bit. I don't want no smoke either. I just again have the belief in him as well, and I'm a little far for him to have smoke with me. So Rod is a lot more likely to get thrown up against the wall at the Woody. So as that being said, yeah, right. No pause in there. And with that being said, yes, I believe he can. I think Tegra is going to be just fine. And again, he's someone like Eddrick Houston. We see a play, we're like, wow, looks athletic, gets out there. We see a play, we're like, why are you slowing up before you hit that guy? Go take out that linebacker and remind him who they're playing. So I have belief in Tyler Bowen. I have no reason not to. I think he's going to develop these guys through the season. Again, they are first-time starters.
Tyler Bowen, I have belief in Tegra. I've seen him do it.
by hook or by crook, they're first-time starters. So, yeah, I believe he'll have it. He'll have them down and ready to go. And I believe Tegra, this is another game where he can do it. And I believe he'll grade a little bit higher this week than he did last week.
Q, that is our final thing that we believe the Ohio State offense needs to show to silence the doubters. We are right at can you tell me what minute mark we are on the show?
We're at the 59-minute mark.
Can I have my flowers as you tried to take topics out of the show today? And I told you I knew I wrote the show exactly to scope, and you were just concerned by the amount of research that I included in the note, because we are here at the 59-minute mark. And if you are still here watching with us here on Dead Air Sports at our new showtime at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday for the Buckeye Roast, make sure you smash that like button. 50% of the people who watch this channel are subscribed, which means half of you are not. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you go check out some of the other videos on the channel. The more that you engage, comment, like, hang out in the community, it helps us grow. We have been seeing record numbers. We have been tracking them in comparison to the numbers that we've done in the past 3 seasons, and we're continuing to grow, and it's only because of the support of you guys, and we couldn't do it without you. So we just hope that you guys can continue to support us. The thing that really helps our videos the most, drop a comment. Tell us what you liked about the show. Tell us if you like the new Showtime. We like to hear from you every day. We try to get back to every comment, so make sure you drop a comment too. We really appreciate it. It helps us a ton. Q, let the people know where they can find you after you give me my flowers.
Well, certainly, I haven't looked at this page while there might have been some topics cut, because this list sure looked long. Maybe got a little shorter. But in the meantime, I'm going to give Ron. So I'll give Ron some flowers. You spent a lot of stats in here, and I heard him talking a little faster than he normally does to make sure he.
Oh, it actually, you're right, Q. The note actually does look smaller, because I told you before the show that there was a whole block segment of statistics that I had on a graphic, but I just had them in there so we could read it. It made the show look longer than it actually was. And now that I took them out there, it looks like a normal size show, like I told you.
This had like 3 pages, but we'll have a list of reasons why it didn't finish that way. Anyway, Ron wrote a great show. Heard you enjoyed those stats. Definitely a lot of stats to get you prepared for the weekend. Remember, the next show is a Friday live show, so we will be here live in attendance for all your questions. Bring your questions, bring your bets, bring your likes, bring your comments. Bring your subscriptions, bring your members, all of that good stuff. If you want to find me, I'm City Boy Quentin on Twitter, Find It Johnson on Instagram, and here at Dead Air Sports doing the Buckeye Roast Monday through Friday. My guy, Ron, make sure you hit that like button one more time and tell a friend. Ron, where can I find you at?
Yeah, man, that is a great point there, Q. Tell a friend. There are so many people that have been watching this show and rocking with us till day one. Since day one, if all of you told one Buckeye fan, I know you know one, about the show that doesn't watch, that would instantly double our views. If you're watching right now, you tell a friend, that doubles our views. It's as simple as that. How easy is that, Q? It costs you nothing.
Say, if you know Tegra, go cut out that segment where Ron wants.
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him. Do not tell him.
This guy comes to the Woody every offseason to watch practice. Just make sure you remember who he is.
Oh man, it's gonna be like one of those 90s sitcoms where they're like digging me out of the trash can out of the Woody because someone stuffed me in it.
Can you want to come watch practice? Nah, I'm good. I'll see the recordings.
If Tegra decides not to return to championship form and decides to smash me like a bug because I've continued to criticism the rest of the season, I wouldn't blame him, but I have all the faith in the world that he's going to get things right, and he is going to have no reason to bring physical harm to me the next time I'm in Columbus.
You know what? Play him the AI version of what Ron just said. Give the AI. I want to hear this. I want the AI interview.
If I survive the season and a safe trip to Columbus, you will be able to continue to find me here weekdays at 10 a.m. despite what the banner says. We're going to have to update that. I know what I'll be doing after the episode. Weekdays at 10 a.m. every day right here on Dead Air Sports, except for on Fridays, tomorrow at 8 a.m. live. You can catch us. Be sure to tune in. You can also catch me in the Bleacher Report app post games with Chris Drew for an instant reaction after every game. And then you could also catch me on the timeline on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TES. We appreciate everybody tuning in. make sure you tell a friend and drop a comment. The comments help us the most. Let's see if we can get 100 comments and Q will shave a mohawk. No?
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking up things, Q, that we could potentially do as punishments or rewards to our viewers. And the worst thing that I thought is like, we'll celebrate success with punishments. Like, oh, we get X amount of likes. Q will do a hot chip challenge or eat a spoonful of mayo.
If you get 1,000 likes on the video, I will do the hot chip challenge.
1,000 likes on the video is a hot chip challenge?
Yeah, I'll do. We get you 1,000 likes. It's a long way to go. I'll do a hot chip challenge.
No, I think 1,000's a lot. How about
it is a lot.
How about 250, 300,
well,
300?
Ron, we get 1,000.
We've gone to 200 likes before. How about all right here? How about this? Spoonful of mayo at 250.
Oh, I hate mayo.
It's perfect.
Spicy mayo?
You can do spicy mayo.
I can do a spoonful of spicy mayo.
I looked up 3 food punishments that you could do on podcast, and the 3 that they suggested were a ranch banana, a spoonful of mayo, or a hot chip challenge, or any sort of pepper. So do you think you want to start with 250 likes, a spoonful of mayo from Q?
And 200 likes, Ron will do the cinnamon challenge.
No cinnamon challenge here. I've done it before too. I'm a millennial child and almost died doing it. I'm not doing it
as well. Doing it for free. Jesus Christ.
So there you go. Here we'll lock it in. If we get to, we'll set it at 300 likes on an episode, and we'll keep this going for as long until we hit this goal on an episode. We get to 300 likes, and here's just a tip. We get more likes when people comment on the show. Q will eat a spoonful of mayonnaise, and I will eat a mustard Oreo. I will eat an Oreo covered in mustard.
Oreo.
Fair? I'm a mustard person, so I saw that as a suggestion. I'm like, I could do that one. I could do that.
That mixture, I don't know, but a spoonful of spicy mayo, I could do it.
So here we go. We have a spoonful of spicy mayo and a mustard Oreo. If we get to 300 likes, got a full season to get there. Why not make today the day? Because the faster that we get to these challenges, the more we're gonna have to up the ante. Right? You can't just stop there. It's gonna have to. We're gonna have to escalate.
I don't know if we gotta keep up there.
If we get 1,000 likes, I'll cut my foot off.
I'll backflip off my balcony on live. I don't know if we need to keep doing that, but okay.
We'll see where we're starting at.
Take some.
300 likes. We've gotten to 200 likes a couple times already this season. If we hit 300 likes on a video, we will do a food challenge. So there you go. Smash that like button. Tell a friend. And the more of these that we accomplish, the more that we're going to have to escalate it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, 300 likes. I'll do spicy stuff. It could be the chip. It could be mayo. It could be the brown. I don't know if I can actually get the brownie, but I'll do one of those.
I'll do weird combinations of sweets mixed with savory. I'm fat enough that I feel like I could tolerate those. I don't know if my stomach's really looking forward to a punishment of eating some sort of spicy chip like that. I was reading those things last for like 24 hours as far as stomach pain. Not interested.
I'll do half a spicy chip.
Maybe we'll do hot wings or something later in the season, but let's smash this goal first of 300 likes. We've been rambling about smashing that like button, dude. If we don't get 100 at least, I don't know what we did this entire segment for.
I with food 10.
But we got to get out of here. Q, finally actually recording at a decent hour. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my night. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. You guys know how this thing goes. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH.
Io.
Mayo.
Mayo.
Yeah.